Okay.
Are you putting your phone away?
No.
Are you ready? Yeah. Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting Business Building Brand Vlog. This one, big number 318, but close. All right. So, got a special guest here today that I thought I'd bring in and help answer the business questions with me because he brings a lot of information and knowledge that I don't have. Mike Levy, what do you do for Pete and Pedro?
I'm the marketing director for Pete and Pedro.
And what does that mean?
Lead the marketing efforts from the social to the inventory to the advertising to the strategy. Pretty much everything A to Z of what's going on is going through me and the rest of the team.
We've also got Dave. You want to come here? Just poke your head in. We also have Dave here. Say.
What's up, guys?
Thanks, Dave. What do you do, Dave?
I'm marketing director, so I work directly with Mike.
Marketing director.
Marketing director too.
Two. Okay, we got two marketing directors. Is this redundant?
CMO, chief marketing.
You're
officer.
CMO,
Yeah.
and you're okay. Anyway, here's the deal. Today I thought
we all want to be the marketing director.
we all want to be the marketing director. I do not want to be the marketing director. Anyway, just wanted to bring Mike in and help me answer these questions because he does come from just a different perspective. And I think it's going to be valuable. So we got a bunch of business questions. You ready to dive in?
Let's knock it out.
Let's knock it out. What to say? What's that? I got three marketing directors?
Yeah.
That's all right. Marketing is the #1 most important thing that you got to figure out with any business. Agree?
Absolutely.
More than product, more than anything, it's marketing.
Product's important, but product is part of marketing. So put it all together, and you got to have a good product and get the right message out.
Why is marketing so incredibly important?
It's your brand. So everything that you say and do is in the marketing. And you have to basically get the right message to people and get them to believe in the product and make sure the whole experience is stellar from A to Z.
Yeah. Well, I think marketing is the most important because it doesn't matter what product you sell. If you don't know how or who your audience is or how you're going to get in front of them, nobody's going to buy it. And so marketing, I always hammer, marketing is the most important part of the equation, more so than anything. But that's my opinion.
Your opinion is very strong.
Very strong, very strong. I'm opinionated. That is strong. All right. So here we go. First business question is from our friend Slia Z78. What's up, brother? Thanks for being here. Let's move in a little bit, Mike, so we're a little closer to the camera. All right. And he says, we have YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, etc. for online advertising. Do you see the growth with influencers and companies to use? Or do you think there's some other avenue on the horizon for businesses to use? Thank you, sir, and have a great weekend. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Answer.
I still think there's a lot of time left with all those channels to be aggressive and reach out to influencers and creating your own content on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So I think they're starting to mature a little bit and they're starting to get oversaturated, but good content will always be king. I don't think there's necessarily going to be any magic channel or something that will pop up, but basically building a personalized experience, owning your own channels with emails and text messaging, and those are definitely the most critical as privacy issues and so forth are king. So kind of having both, I think, are really important.
Talk a little bit about which avenues do you feel are the most beneficial at this point in terms of the different, you've got YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Let's go with those four. What would you say the benefits of each of those are, and also the negatives associated with them?
Okay.
I'm making you work today.
Yeah, you really are. I think YouTube, I think, is still the strongest channel, especially for us. You can have longer videos, stronger content. You can really kind of build a channel.
And a link. There's a link below every video, and so it's also, in my opinion, it's searchable, right? Because a lot of the content that you put up on YouTube, they always say or use the term like evergreen, right? It's evergreen, meaning somebody is today going and searching for something that I did a video on 8 years ago, and they're watching the video, and that link is still active. They can still buy from the video I did 8 years ago. And so it's evergreen. That's one of the beautiful things. Also, YouTube is kind of like a search engine, right? Where yes, Google technically is, and Safari, these other, technical search engines are search engines, but YouTube is used as a search engine. That's where you go to learn things and to find things and to get educated.
Yeah, I mean, you stole my thunder right there. I mean,
Okay,
basically,
thunder stealing.
Yeah, if Google is the #1 search engine, then YouTube's #2. So,
Yes.
Basically your content stays there forever.
And it also kind of feeds each other, because if you have a popular video on YouTube, you Google search something, you're going to see that video pop up or populate, on the organic results from Google, because the two, they're yin yang and all sorts of together. Talk a little bit about Facebook.
Facebook is,
Hold on. It used to be everybody had a Facebook account. Everybody needed one. It was kind of like MySpace, right?
It's it's starting to change the game a little bit with a little bit of an older audience, and the advertising game has changed this year with the Apple privacy issues. So the advertising's been a lot more of a challenge because it's hard to track, and if you can't track in marketing, then you just don't know what you're doing, and then all of a sudden your money and budget,
it's burning. It's burning.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing you can do in marketing is burn your money and not see results from it. So,
What about Instagram?
Instagram is fantastic channel. You can build great content and videos. It's definitely going the more video realm because they're trying to compete with TikTok.
Barrier to entry also super low for TikTok, for Instagram.
The most important thing is to create engaging content. So don't worry about the number of followers. Worry about your engagement rate. Building relationships one by one, growing it slowly but surely. That's really going to be, at the end of the day, more important than having a huge following. And if you can, communicate with your fans as much as you can until it gets bigger. And then, as it gets bigger, you can have somebody else do some of that stuff for you. But basically, engage, and that's what really it's all about, is conversating. And TikTok, kind of it's really starting to get into the advertising game. People are starting to figure out what works and moves the needle. That probably has the most growth and the most viral ability, but it's still kind of a wild west. So figuring that out and growing that could be really important quickly. But it's YouTube still, in my mind, is still king.
Yeah, me too. All right, let's move on. Great question. Thanks for being here. Great answer, Mike.
Thank you.
Ryan Moyer had a question on the previous vlog that I said, hey, copy and paste it here, which is a great question. All right, here we go. Ryan, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching last week. Hopefully this can help you. He says, business question. I have a relatively successful real estate business in Northern California, a little over $300,000 in revenue, which is awesome. Congratulations. That I have spent the last several years working on. In the beginning, I grew up with a lot of sweat equity, cold calls, door knocking, open houses, etc. And let me just say, if you can cold call, if you can go and knock on doors and develop the skin thick enough in order to do that, you are ahead of the game. I was just talking to somebody yesterday at the gym who watches my channel, and he was like, hey, are you Alabama? I'm like, yeah, I'm Alabama. He's like, yeah, and we were talking. I'm like, well, what do you do? He's like, I'm a student. I'm 20. I still have another year left in school. What is that?
That's my phone.
Okay, we're still good.
I'll change my ringtone.
Okay, that was heavenly. He said, I work for a roofing company, and I started with the roofing company just going around and knocking on doors and trying to sell roofing. I'm like, that's amazing. If you can develop that skill, it's something, and because a lot of people aren't comfortable with rejection, going up and knocking on doors and being able to do that, it scares the shit out of me, right? And so if you can do that, congratulations. Anyway, it sounds like you have done that. But now, back to your question. I'm in a situation now where my business is cranking, and I average 2 to 3 deals a month from past efforts and referrals. I send out weekly emails to my database and in-depth market reports via FedEx once a quarter. Don't advertise beyond my personal posts on my social channels, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and want to start. I have about $20,000 in my marketing budget left over this year, and my problem is that I don't know where to spend it or the best way to spend it. I've paid with online lead generation from big companies in the past, but want to get more into the local market approach. I know you have a huge influence online and most of your businesses are online, but I'm curious if you have any other advice on how to best spend money in local service business to build brand recognition and ultimately get more business. Any advice is appreciated. Love your vlogs. Been watching you for like 6 years. Keep it up, and thanks for what you do. Thank you, Ryan. Mike, dig in.
That's a tough one. I would think Google local listing reviews would be critical. So if you have a business, like a small type of business that people can go to, getting those reviews from customers is huge because people are searching for that. My other thing would be, especially in a business like real estate, it's a networking and personal business. So getting super involved in the community and those outreach type of programs.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. Everybody knows 27,000 realtors, right? You go to any networking event, you go, really, I'm not saying networking isn't good, but if you go to any type of chamber of commerce or anything like that, you're gonna meet 37 realtors, like guaranteed. Everybody is in the real estate game right now because real estate is so hot, the market is amazing, and so keep going. Sorry to steal your thunder.
I mean, I think I would start with, if you have a local type of listing, try to get reviews and referrals in that sense. I don't have necessarily the perfect answer at the moment.
Think about it. Let me talk for a second. Think about that for a second. All right. So something that I would recommend is definitely get your reviews going in terms of local listing, like on Google reviews, right? Somebody searches your name. What we did at the salon, and it's funny because we're new. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. Every single person, we send an email out and we say, hey, would you rate us? And if they give us a 5-star, we say, hey, would you mind, doing this? And this is all automated. Would you mind actually leaving a review on Google? We had so many reviews so fast on, Yelp, that Yelp actually killed our account and thought something like shady was up. It wasn't. We were just incredibly effective in utilizing technology in order to, look big and see the reviews and get things cranking. But Google is amazing in terms of people go online to look for you. Now, some other things I would recommend. I have a friend, his name is Anthony, who started real estate. And he started with local real estate. Well, he decided, you know what, I'm going to start talking about my town, talking about my community on YouTube, doing short little videos, saying, hey, if you're interested or need to buy or sell a house, please contact me. He started being that personality and just talking about the area that he lives in. And so what happens, it sort of all feeds into each other. People go on and search Marietta real estate or buying a house in Marietta. Guess whose videos are popping up on Google searches? His are. And so he has recently really taken off locally because of the content he's putting out there on YouTube. And so another option. Now, the other beautiful thing with that is that it's free. You can also utilize those videos and target and do advertising on YouTube for local, because you can get really granular and target specific, areas and locations. And so just another idea of how you could possibly spend a little bit of time if you're already making content, maybe talk about, 5 best tips to buy a house in whatever town you are or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think that's the key. You're sending out weekly emails with content. So if you're doing it weekly, you can do it twice a week.
Yeah.
And have different tips, slight variations of real estate, but they're still connected to it. You can bring other people in. You leverage is a keyword. So if you know somebody else in a somewhat same but different industry, you can leverage their content and feedback and get them incorporated into the newsletter. If it's already working, don't change it. So I would basically double down on what you're already doing.
And then you could also, with these videos, have them linked on your website. And so it's something where people get to know you. They get to know who you are. You can talk about it. You can, do video tours of houses that you're selling. There are a lot of amazing things that you can do, but it just takes you doing it and putting in the time and the effort and not necessarily the money. In terms of $20,000, how I would spend it. If I had $20,000 to spend locally, what would I do? For the salon, we do send out mailers, email, we send out emails, we send out postcards, that kind of stuff still possibly works. And so that's probably how I do it.
Yeah. Well,
great question. Good luck. Good job and good luck. Next question. It was a tough question.
Yeah.
You handled it though. See?
Video tours is key. People like that.
Video tours. People love video tours.
Yeah.
All right. Will Kissick. What's up, Will? Thanks for being here. He says, hi, Aaron. You may have answered this in past vlogs, and I can't remember, but when running your business, at what point do you start taking money out of the company and paying yourself a salary or some sort of compensation? I know for myself, I wouldn't know when this point is, or this point would be, because I would want to keep growing the company as much as I can. Any advice is much appreciated. Any ideas? Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, Aaron can definitely have more to say about this since he's started a bunch of companies. But I think that, one thing for Pete and Pedro is we were always trying to balance our profit and our revenue to kind of have a percentage that our bottom line hits. So when we look at our budgets and our numbers, we're always kind of having an end goal in mind and then work our way backwards from there. But I think that probably having a set number that you have a goal in mind that you want to take out every year to kind of keep it consistent, and then put it back in would be the way to go. But Aaron can definitely try.
We got somebody blowing leaves outside, but we're not stopping. We're rolling. We're going through. This was one of the hardest things that I had to do when I was starting my businesses, because I was worried, right? I'm like, I don't want to take money. I just want to leave it in there. I just want to keep growing. And I think it was my accountant that was like, you have to start taking some type of salary. And I think that once there's enough money that you can take a little bit of a salary, it doesn't need to be like massive, but take something, whether or not it's $100, $1,000, $2,000 a month, take something. And then with that extra money, see if you can use that and leverage that in order to continue the growth of your business. The other, sorry, it's right outside the window. You can probably see. Yeah, they can definitely hear it. Anyway, but it's a challenge to figure out what that number is, because you want to make sure that there's money in there in case something happens. But maybe that's more of a personal finance thing where you take money, salary, pay taxes on it, and save some so that if you do need to give back to your business or invest more, or you see an opportunity to really scale or grow, you have the money sort of there and sitting back. But it's something where if you can figure out that mechanism to spend money to grow it, I think you definitely should invest in that. But don't be too aggressive. You want to still be a little bit more reserved. And that's, for me, I always want to look at the bottom line for me.
You just don't know what's going to happen the following year. So, it's nice to take out some of the profit. And if you see an opportunity, you can put it right back in.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
Just be smart and go slowly. And
congratulations.
That's from there.
But yeah, take a little bit of money. Some people take too much, but just be smart. Take a little, and then you can scale from there. At the end of the year, you could also take a distribution. If there's more money, you could treat yourself. You could take some of the money out at the end of the year. But I think the other benefit is with a business, if you ever want to get loans, this is another good point. If you ever want to get a loan, like for this building, right, that I bought, when I went to a bank and I was like, hey, I want to buy this. They're like, well, let me see what they don't necessarily want to see what's in the bank. They want to see like a W-2 or a wage that you're actually getting. And it shows substantial or not substantial, but not significant, consistent income. And so if you're ever wanting to get loans or lines of credit, having the ability to show what you're earning personally is definitely going to be beneficial, because just go into a bank and be like, I own this company, this is what it does. That doesn't necessarily make a company that's going to loan you money or give you some type of financial support. It doesn't make them necessarily feel comfortable. So that is another reason why you should start taking a salary, just so that you have W-2 income. Next question. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, Andrew L. has a great business question. He says, hey, Alpha, how do you go about validating a business idea? You have an idea for a business. How do you test it?
Well, the first thing I'll say is that, ideas come easy. Execution is what it's all about. So today, it's really easy to get something off the ground, easier than it's ever been. So, if you can, to find a way to quickly test it, talk to people, talk to your friends, talk to your family.
Wow.
Well, just to get some ideas, see the validity of it. But basically, there's a lot of ideas out there. They're floating all around. But it's the person who can take it and massage it and actually do something with it that's really going to be where it gets off the ground.
Yes. And I would say, do not ask your friends and your family if you have a business, because they are going to lie to you. 100% they're going to lie to you. unless they're really good friends and they tell you the truth. But most people don't want to hurt your feelings. And so if I go to somebody with a business idea, my mom, she's going to be like, oh yeah, I definitely, yeah, that's amazing. Great idea. Gold covered coffee cups. Perfect. Sell them for $2,000 each, right? Yeah, you got to ask people that are actually going to give you real feedback and are potentially your customers. And that's the thing. It's about trying to figure out who would potentially buy whatever you're trying to sell. And then, Noah Kagan,
Yep.
he does a great job sort of, on his YouTube channel talking a little bit about different ways to test different ideas. And Noah's had, like 200 businesses over the years, and he's really good about testing and trying to sell, 1 or 2 units, through like email lists and things of that nature. But if you don't have an email list, just trying to figure out who is your potential customer, going to them for feedback and seeing what it is. One of the other hard things as an entrepreneur is hearing the truth. Because a lot of times we'll think of something, we'll think it's a great idea, we can't imagine it not being successful. It's going to make millions of dollars, right? But then when you get it out in the market, when you start testing it, when you start getting it in your potential consumers' hands, that's when things get a little bit weird. And if people aren't buying it, if people aren't interested, is it that it's a bad product? They're not interested? Either way, it doesn't matter. You got to figure out something else in another way to either leverage what you're doing, change it, modify it in order to get that person interested. And when you make that first sale, see if you can make 2. If you can make 2, you can make 2,000.
I think that's one of my favorite things to say is if you can sell 1, you can definitely sell 100. And if you can sell 100, you can sell 1,000. So go for 1, start there, and then you can build on that idea.
Perfect. Next question. All right, Mikey, last business question. This vlog is running long. If you dug this, drop one of these. Also, if you've got a business question down below, start it with business question and ask. Next week, I will try to get to some of yours. Next week is actually Christmas. Super excited about that. Have you gotten your shopping done? Have you?
Most of it.
But you found out, tell them that one thing.
Which thing?
About the shirt and them taking orders and not delivering.
Oh.
No?
Yeah, that's. I don't want to dive into
Okay,
that.
that's a long story. Anyway, there's a company that's selling shirts. They're taking his order, and he paid for like expedited shipping and everything, and they're like, yeah, we don't have the product. You're not getting it. And these were like Christmas gifts. Don't do that. It's incredibly bad customer service, customer experience. If you're out of stock, if you can't deliver what you're promising, like he literally will never go back to this website again because they screwed him up. He screwed him over. They took his money and aren't delivering on the promise. Gentlemen, it's all about customer service.
Customer service is king. So build the relationships, get back to people fast with responses, keep it genuine. They rather be known the truth than basically kind of fudge some kind of wishy-washy answer.
Bingo. Last business questions from our friend Pay, P-A-I-I. What's up, brother? When you're facing problems, especially from people that involve your business, how do you keep a healthy mindset and not just become negative throughout the duration of the problem? Thanks in advance.
Well, I think Aaron does a good job. When he's upset, he gives me a ring, and then I get to hear him complain for a few minutes,
and then
maybe an hour.
And then the next day, what happens?
He calls back and he says, "You know what? I was a little upset.
I was a little upset. Yeah."
But for me, I probably will go for a walk, do a little lap around my apartment, try to play a sport like tennis just to get outside. And just take some break, do something else, and it's nice to talk to somebody or just take a little break. I mean, that's all you can do, and jump back in. And everybody, for Aaron, it's interesting because, for the most part, he's got nobody to complain to because he's at the top of the company. So when you're at the top, you always, where do you look? But for everybody else, they can kind of turn some other direction. So it always is hardest when you're kind of running the show.
Just last night, my wife and I were talking. We were just talking about kind of the past year, and I was explaining, I'm like, it's been hard, and she's like, why has it been hard for you? And I started, kind of saying, well, because of this, and feeling responsible for a lot of people, and not ever really seeing like any type of like exit for me. Like I'm like, I have to keep going because I've got a lot of people that I love and care about that I feel like somewhat responsible for. And so that's beside the point. For me, I do. I get upset, and having multiple companies, having multiple people that I'm interacting with, I've gotten in arguments with Rob, with Kelly, have we gotten in an argument?
Yeah, we squabble.
A little bit, but mainly it's me bitching about something. Terry, Manfluential Media, also another, we've gotten into some really bad arguments. Brian, we gotten into bad arguments. For me, whenever that happens, it affects me in terms of I don't like having people that I care about. I don't like having unresolved issues. I don't like having animosity. And so I'm a talker, I'm a solver. Let's work this out. Let's get through this so that we can move on. And until I do that, it occupies space in my brain that I need to be using for something else. And so for me, I try to solve problems and deal with it. Yes, I do. I call Mike and I'll bitch and I'll whine and I'll complain about things and there's marketing, advertising, spending, and bitch and margins and
spend less, make more.
Spend less, make more. And a lot of times it's just kind of like getting it out, not necessarily thinking through it, but just really responding and reacting. And a lot of times sleeping on it and coming back to it and thinking through it later, I think is definitely something that is good. I think just reacting and responding like super quick and harsh and hastily is not something that is necessarily the best solution. I think giving it a little bit of time, sleeping on it 24 hours if you can, I think is something. Exercise for me is also something that I need to do every single day in order to feel good and just deal with and manage some of my personal stress. Is that it?
I think that's it.
That's it. Gentlemen, that's where we're wrapping things up. If you have a business question, down below, start with a business question, ask it. Also, if you haven't dropped one of these, why don't you do so? Any final words for the aspiring entrepreneur and business executors?
Keep on trying, keep on plugging away, and give it a shot. And
you got nothing to lose.
Good luck.
Actually, you do have something to lose. If you don't do it, you have regret. Don't regret anything, gentlemen. Swing the bat. You got one shot at life. You got one at bat. You got one at bat. Swing the bat.
See you guys.
Peace out. Gentlemen, we love you more than a double monk. You did great.
Thank you.
Great job. Well done. Gentlemen, peace.